Hi, this is Scott Garibay, and today I'm going to be talking about Ready Player One, the new movie by Steven Spielberg. So I want to make this very clear. I did not see this movie at all. So why am I going to be talking about a movie that I didn't see? Well, the reason why is the meta. I am actually very, very often, more and more, as things go forward, I'm often more interested in the meta of certain topics than I am in the actual thing. Right, and actually, this is I think it's a very distinct element of our times. It's something that's really new, right? By the way, this content contains major spoilers for the film Ready Player One, for the book Ready Player One. All right. So basically, this idea of the movie review. The movie is not out, but all the reviews are out, right? So they release this like I think it comes out this weekend. It comes out this weekend. So all the critics are bringing out their reviews, both their standard reviews and their spoiler reviews. And I have been listening to the reviews and the spoiler reviews. I've gone right down the road. Jeremy Johns, Grace Randolph, Chris Stuckman, a few others, right? Listening to their reviews and their spoiler reviews. And some of the things they said were really, really fantastic. Now, real quick, I'll explain why I have no intention of seeing this movie. And the reason why is I enjoyed the book Ready Player One, but the movie, but without a doubt, the book Player One and the movie, right, really incredibly glorify obsessive video gaming. Like 30, 40, 50 hours a week of gameplay. The type of gameplay that very clearly has made people lose friends, family, spouses, paramours, all of it, right? And it's incredibly glorified within Ready Player One. Now, in the book Ready Player One, Ernest Cline, the author, is very honest about this. And the player in Ready Player One weighs like 300 pounds because he's constantly in a virtual reality rig, and he never goes outside, right? Like Ernest Cline, the author in the book, owns this problem. So Hollywood is like, well, Ready Player One, the book, glorified obsessive gameplay, right? Video gameplay, 30, 40, 50 hours a week. People who don't have jobs are like, sacrifice anything and everything to be the very best there are at one or more video games, right? And I think I really feel like it's an incredibly destructive force within our culture that we deal with right now. Like, it's a very real thing. I know there's a young person I know right now, like incredible potential, who just uses the vast majority of their brilliant brain and their creativity to rack up, platinum trophies on PS4. It's sad and harmful, in my opinion, right? And this person could be creating great works of art, or writing books, or getting an extra degree, or whatever it would, and it's just like, I get, video gaming 5 to 10 hours a week. I don't think, I understand why somebody would be interested in that, but glorifying obsessive video gameplay is incredibly destructive. And in the Hollywood movie, they take that 300-pound weight, which was a burden that was given to the main character by obsessive video gaming, and they just get rid of it. They don't even deal with it in the film at all, which you're saying a glorification in the book of obsessive video gaming in the book needs to be magnified in the Hollywood version. It drives me crazy, right? But I love Steven Spielberg. I love almost every intellectual property in this that they pull out in this film. So I'm highly interested in this movie. But as a person who has values, I cannot bring myself to pay money to support what Hollywood's doing here, because it's destructive to our culture, right? So what I've been doing is I watch the reviews for it, right, which does not give them impetus to make more of these, right? So that's why I'm talking about a movie I haven't seen. So one thing I will say, Grace Randolph did a really good spoiler review, and I was incredibly impressed that the creators of the film were able to keep as a surprise the Shining scene where the characters in the film are actually dealing with Jack from The Shining. You know, all work and no play makes Jack a dull boy. Are actually chased around the haunted mansion, the haunted hotel by Jack, and that's a really cool aspect that they put into the film. And the fact that they were able to keep that secret was a big deal. I was really impressed that they put a Gundam actually in the film, like an actual Gundam in the film. That's pretty incredible. I'm surprised they were able to get those rights from Bandai and do that. And Sunrise, I believe it's also Sunrise. So, you know, that was pretty incredible. Harley Quinn and Joker are in the film. It does sound like it's just, and also I'm a huge fan of the Back to the Future property, and the fact that they had the DeLorean in there, and the DeLorean actually, you know, has action scenes, all that sounds, you know, pretty cool. But, you know, it's really fascinating to me that Ready Player One is about to drop, and I'm really curious what's going to happen. And I'm going to give my prediction. I think it's going to have a $60 million opening. You know, actually domestic, $60 million domestic, and I would say 50 international, right? So probably 110 opening overall. You know what? I'd say, you know, I don't think it's going to break 100 million. I'm going to say 60 domestic and 30 international. So my prediction is a total of 90, and it will not break $100 million. So I'm really curious where this is going to land. The other thing this is a serious experiment for is this movie is about poor young video gamers made by a rich older millionaire, and that is really interesting. So I'm really curious if someone who you know shares no circles within your Venn diagram can actually empathize and make something which is compelling. And one of the things that I'm seeing is, one thing that really also concerned me is, I'm really curious how this is being reviewed. So one of the things I saw that was very, very alarming to me was Chris Stuckman's review. So last week, I was very excited about Pacific Rim, okay? Pacific Rim Uprising, the sequel to Pacific Rim. But I decided to not go to it. And the reason why is I never watched a single review for Pacific Rim Uprising. I just saw the frowning thumbnails, right? And the frowning thumbnail was, Grace Randolph frowning, at the Pacific Rim, saying, "I don't like this," and its thumbnail. This is like the image that they put on YouTube to show to say, "Hey, this is what this is my review of this movie." And now, basically, the review of the movie comes in the thumbnail, right? So the reviewer will either be frowning or smiling based on whether it's good or not. So you don't even need to watch the interview to watch the review to know if that reviewer liked or disliked the movie, right? And last week, Chris Stuckman, frowning, profile for Pacific Rim Uprising. Jeremy Johns, frowning thumbnail for Pacific Rim Uprising. Grace Randolph, frowning thumbnail for Pacific Rim Uprising. So that's 3 people out there who are saying, "Nope, this is not a good movie. Don't waste your money." And so I was on the fence, and I didn't. I was like, "No, I'm not going to. Maybe I'll see it later, whatever. I'm not going to go see it." Right. So I did not go to see Pacific Rim Uprising, right, based on frowning thumbnails. Well, sure enough, it was really interesting because Chris Stuckman put up his Ready Player One review and did not put his face on it. Didn't do the frowning or the smiling. And I'm like, whoa, what's happening there? Why does this movie get that, right? And I'm not sure why this movie gets that, but I don't think it's a good reason. I'm almost positive it's not a good reason, right? And I'm not sure who it serves, whether it serves the people who made Ready Player One, whether it serves Chris Stuckman, whether it serves both of them. But it made me I was like, whoa, that's not fair, man. I skipped the movie last week because of your frowning thumbnail, and this movie gets a pass on that and doesn't get. I don't get that piece of information. So why does John Boyega's film get a frowning, get a face thumbnail, but Steven Spielberg's doesn't, right? And so that's a real issue for me with Chris Stuckman and with the way he's reviewing movies, you know. And I really don't know why they made that decision, but I'm willing to bet it's not a good reason, right? And one of the things that I think is interesting too is I think because Steven Spielberg has a lot of goodwills from old films, I think a lot of that goodwill from old films is going to rub off on this film, right? And because everybody's wanting them to make something other than Hugo, The Post, and the and Abraham Lincoln, movies that virtually no one saw, right? So I'm very interested to continue to watch the reviews and see the discussion of this. And one of the reasons why is in the world we live in right now, things have changed so drastically that you could be incredibly interested in a particular topic and garner a lot of entertainment from that particular topic just off the meta and never spend a single dime. And that's new. That really is, I never thought we would land here. It's quite interesting. Take care.